Hello friends, we are moving into the 7th week of our course on literature and life. The author we have taken up for this course is Girish Karnad and his play is Tughlaq. That means we are entering a different kind of literary form, that is drama. First, in this presentation we will have an introduction to Girish Karnad and Indian drama in general, and then his specific play Tughlaq. We will introduce the characters, and then in the next lecture we will discuss the characters, characterization, and continue like this in the next couple of lectures. As in all cases, we will see the objectives, Indian drama in English, Girish Karnad's life and writings. We have to remember that his mother and wife played a key role in his making up as a dramatist and an artist. We will see his views on Tughlaq and then some of the views of the critics on Tughlaq, and then introduce the play Tughlaq, which was published in 1964, and move on to introduce the characters, setting and structure of the play. Finally summarize this presentation. What are the objectives that we have for this discussion on Girish Karnad's Tughlaq? First, to provide a brief background to Indian drama in English and also in Kannada drama. To introduce Girish Karnad and his plays, he has written a dozen plays or so, we will just mention them. To comment on the influence of Karnad's mother and his wife on his drama and his creative output. To highlight the centrality of Tughlaq in Indian drama, we have to remember that Tughlaq has played a major role in the making of modern Indian drama. To list the characters in the play, we have many characters, nearly 40 or over 40, but we will mention most important ones. To describe the setting of the play in Delhi, en route, that is from Delhi to Tughlaq, and then finally Tughlaq in a period of 5 years. Remember, Tughlaq ruled the country in the medieval period for 20 years or so, but this play deals with a 5-year period. Now let us see Indian drama. Indian drama is a general term. It is available in regional languages, it is available in English, and most of the Indian languages are Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Malayalam, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu and many others. We have had such Indian dramas in the pre-independent period and also post-independent period. We have some well-known dramatists like Rabindranath Tagore, and his play Muktadara is a watershed in Indian drama, particularly in terms of its theme, which has repercussions even today. Next we have Dharamveer Bharati, who is also known for a breakthrough drama called Andhayog. Then we have a Marathi playwright Vijay Tendulkar, and his play Shantata Kot Chalu Ahe is a very famous drama in Indian context. These plays were written in regional languages like Bengali, Hindi or Marathi. These were made available in English translation by translators or by authors themselves. In the case of Badal Sarkar's play Yuvam Indrajit, we find that Girish Karnad took interest in this play and translated this into English. Similarly, we have Vijay Tendulkar's play Silence, the Court is in Session, which was translated into English by Priya Adarkar. And next we have Indra Parthasarathy's Tamil play Aurangzeb, which was translated into English by T. Sriraman. So we have plays in Indian regional languages. Some of them have been translated into other regional languages, from Tamil to Hindi or from Marathi to Tamil, from Bengali to Hindi, and this kind of cross fertilization of creative output we have in the Indian context, and many of them are available in English translation by well known translators. Some of them have been translated into English by the authors themselves. Now when we come to Indian drama in English, see, we mentioned Indian drama in Indian languages, we also have Indian drama in English which are written by authors originally in English, and some have been translated into English by the authors themselves. So we use this term Indian drama in English to refer to both kinds of plays, translated into English by other translators, translated into English by the dramatists themselves. For example, Rabindranath Tagore wrote the Red Oleanders in Bengali, but later he translated that play into English by himself. Next we have Girish Karnad's play Tughlaq. This play was written originally in Kannada, but later Girish Karnad translated this play into English, although somebody else also had translated that play into English separately. So we have Indian drama originally written in English also. At the first time itself, the original output came out in English. We have some examples like Aurobindo Ghosh's play Perseus the Deliverer. After independence, we have Asif Karimboy's play Goa, then Mahesh Dattani's play Final Solutions, and Manjula Padmanabhan's play Harvest. These two plays went on to win national and international recognitions. For example, Mahesh Dattani won the Sahitya Akademi Award. This is the first Sahitya Akademi Award for an Indian play originally written in English. That's how some kind of recognition has come to Indian drama in English as well. We have Manjula Padmanabhan's Harvest, which went on to win an international award, Onassis International Award. So we have plays and playwrights who have won recognition for themselves in the national and international context. Recently we have a dramatist called Poili Sengupta who has written most of her plays in English. One of them is Samara Song. It's a very powerful play that one should read and understand the kind of socio-political economic situations that are represented in this play. Next we move on to the local Kannada play, Kannada drama and theatre. Kannada has had its theatre activities right from the 12th century AD. Many theatrical performances were there, right from this court theatre to people's theatre. Court theatre played only in the royal court for the sake of the kings and queens and courtiers, and people's theatre on the street and different locations primarily for ordinary people. One of the earliest plays that is available to us in Kannada is from 17th century. The modern Kannada theatre started from 1857 and it has gone up to 1980 until recently. So the actual Kannada Renaissance took place from 1880 to 1920, and we have had many playwrights, many dramas from this period. One of the famous dramatic troupes in Kannada is called Yakshagana. Normally they would go around Karnataka and play these dramas or perform these dramas in different locations. These stories are based on mythology, Indian mythology, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And also this Yakshagana troupe was highly influenced by Marathi and Parsi theatre. Marathi and Parsi theatre, even today they are very strong, particularly Marathi theatre. And in the case of Karnataka, although Bangalore is considered to be the capital of Karnataka state, the cultural capital is Dharwad. That is where many of these literary activities took place. In Kannada drama, we can see the influence of both Western drama and also Sanskrit drama. That is, our Indian tradition has its own influence on local languages like Kannada. Many of the plays written in Kannada are mythical, historical and psychological plays. We also have some social plays as well. What are the different theatre forms available in Kannada? We already mentioned Yakshagana. This is a major dramatic form in Kannada theatre. Mostly these plays are performed in coastal areas. We also have another type of drama called Bayalata or open air theatre. This kind of play is performed mainly in the plain areas. We have other forms like Dodata, Sanata and Krishna Parijata. These forms of plays are performed in northern districts of Karnataka. We also have one form called Mudala Paya related to the old Mysore area. The Yakshagana performance of 1842 inspired the birth of Marathi theatre. Marathi theatre is very highly evolved today, but then it has also got its inspiration from Yakshagana performance from 1842. Then we have the arrival of Parsi theatre into Karnataka, performing in different locations, and all these events have contributed to the development of modern Kannada theatre, and from which our playwright Girish Karnad has drunk the spirit of drama in Kannada and also in English. We have a specific form called company natak plays, and these plays were performed by Parsi company theatres in Mysore, and so taking inspiration from these Parsi theatres, we have some Kannada companies established. One of the earliest companies is known as the Armanic Natak Company. We have another company called Gubbi Company, which is said to be established in 1884, and I understand that it is still active today. These theatres, company Natak plays, had certain characteristics like proscenium stage, sale of tickets, middle class audience. These are typical features of Western drama. We have some examples from Suri Venkata Ramana Sastri's play called Iggappa Hegde Vivaha Prahasana, which was performed in 1887. This is the first Kannada realistic play on child marriage, on the theme of child marriage in Kannada. Next we have Rayappa Pattar's play called Sangya Balya with the theme of adultery and murder in this play. This is considered to be a folk play. We have a number of Kannada theatre personalities. It would be good for us to learn all about them, though briefly. T.P. Kailasam is a well-known theatre personality in Kannada. He started the amateur theatre group in Kannada. We have next Sriranga, who sustained the Kannada theatre for a long time. We have a very interesting playwright called Samsa, who is considered to be the Shakespeare of Kannada drama. Next we have B.M. Sri, who adapted Greek and English plays into Kannada. That's how these playwrights wrote plays in Kannada, but they borrowed ideas and techniques from other countries and other cultures. In addition to these authors and groups, we have well-known directors of Kannada plays like K. Shivarama Karanth and B.V. Karanth. These trained directors contributed to the further growth of Kannada theatre. We have Girish Karnad also. Girish Karnad is an actor, a playwright, a director. He is a multifaceted personality. He is known for his play Tughlaq, which was performed in 1964. Then we have B. Lankesh, who is famous for his play Sankranti, which was performed in 1972. Next we have Chandrasekhar Kambar, who is well known for his play Jo Kumarasamy. This is also an example of a folk drama. Next we have H.S. Shivaprakash, who is typically known for Maha Chaitra, which was performed in 1986. So we have a number of Indian playwrights, particularly from Kannada theatre, who have contributed to the making up of this modern Indian theatre, especially modern Kannada theatre. Now we will see what Girish Karnad has said about Indian drama, particularly Kannada drama, in his own age, in his own time. He has said this in an interview. My generation was the first to come of age after India became independent of British rule. It therefore had to face a situation in which tensions implicit until then had come out in the open and demanded to be resolved without apologia or self-justifications. Tensions between the cultural past of the country and its colonial past, between the attractions of the Western modes of thought and our own traditions, and finally between the various visions of the future that opened up once the common cause of political freedom was achieved. This is the historical context that gave rise to my plays and those of my contemporaries. Karnad wrote his plays in this background. He belongs to the first generation of dramatists who saw the cause of Indian independence to be achieved. After that, many tensions came up between the West and the East, between modernity and tradition, and so these writers, these playwrights had to respond to these conflicts within the society, Indian society. Now let us see Karnad's life. Girish Karnad was born in 1938 and he died in 2019. He is first and foremost a playwright. Although we said he has many roles to play in his life, he always identified himself as a playwright. He had to perform some roles like administrator and publisher, and an actor, a director, a translator, and sometimes a dubbing artist. He also played certain roles like an anchor for TV programs, an activist for social causes, and a public intellectual commenting on the social issues, political issues in our country. He was the recipient of several awards, including Sangeet Nataka Academy Award in 1972, Padma Shri in 1974, Padma Bhushan in 1992, and Sahitya Academy Award in 1994, and at last he won the Lifetime Achievement Award called Jnanpith Award in 1998. His plays are qualitatively considered to be really great. What are the writings of Girish Karnad? He has written many plays. We have listed them here. We start with Yayati, which was written in 1961 but translated into English and published in 2008. We have Ma Nishada, which Girish Karnad did not think to be a great play. So normally this play is left out of discussions on Girish Karnad scholarship. Next comes the first great play from Girish Karnad, that is Tughlaq. Next we have a folk play, Hayavadana. Then again another play we have which was not considered to be a great play by Girish Karnad, that is called Anjumalage. Again one more play we have by Girish Karnad which he did not think of high, that is Hitina Hunja, which was translated as Bali much later in 2004. Now comes a great play called Nagamandala. Next comes Taledanda, and we have another very interesting play, The Fire and the Rain. It has real fire in this play. Next comes The Dreams of Tipu Sultan, which Girish Karnad wrote originally in English. Many of these plays were originally written in English and later translated into Kannada. First set of plays he wrote them in Kannada and translated them into English. Second set of plays he wrote them in English and translated them into Kannada. So we have The Dreams of Tipu Sultan, Broken Images, Flowers. These two plays are short plays, mostly monologues. They are not like Tughlaq or The Dreams of Tipu Sultan. Next we have a social play, contemporary play, Wedding Album, Boiled Beans on Toast. These are contemporary plays in the sense they deal with contemporary themes, unlike mythical themes or historical themes that we have in Tughlaq or Hayavadana or The Fire and the Rain or even The Dreams of Tipu Sultan. Next comes Crossing to Talikota. This is one of his last plays that he wrote, again about Kannada history, and before his death he wrote his autobiography in Kannada. He could not complete the translation. He started translating his memoir, that is an autobiography, into English, but later another translator had to step in to help him because he had poor health. So the English version is called This Life at Play. This is a fantastic book. Everyone interested in Indian drama, Indian culture, Indian society, Indian politics, everything Indian, everyone should read this book to understand the kind of rich life Girish Karnad has lived and left a legacy for us. As we mentioned earlier, Girish Karnad's mother played a key role in shaping Girish Karnad. Those days Krishnabai, that is the name of Girish Karnad's mother, was interested in studies. She wanted to actually do medicine, but she did not have that kind of resources. So one of her relatives took interest in her and put her in a nursing college, and she studied nursing and became a nurse. And she had to marry, as was the custom in those days, yearly, but then her husband passed away, so she became a widow, and she continued to perform her role as a nurse, and she had a child to look after. So she was married yearly, widowed yearly, but she had a child. Only good thing that happened is she had a job of a nurse, and so she could support herself. Now as a nurse, she was under the supervision of Dr. Raghunath Karnad, and so what happened, when there was no place to stay for her in the town, he allowed her to stay with him to look after his own ailing wife. Dr. Raghunath Karnad had a wife who was very sick, so both ways Krishnabai was able to find accommodation, and Raghunath Karnad's wife could find some nurse to help her. Because they lived together for a long time, later on they had to marry, and that's where Girish Karnad came into picture. The first son of Krishnabai is called Balachandra, and he was 11 years old at the time when she married. This fact was suppressed for a long time. The relations did not know about the existence of Balachandra. And because of this complicated relationship, Krishnabai had to go through difficult times in her life. Many family problems continued to exist for a long time. When Dr. Raghunath Karnad died, who will perform the last ritual, the first son or somebody else? So such problems came up and many things were discussed, but they were not solved smoothly. And that kind of conflicting situations we will find in the plays of Girish Karnad. As a result, these difficult experiences of Krishnabai, which were shared with Girish Karnad, have gone into the making of Girish Karnad as a dramatist. He deals with all kinds of psychological, sociological issues in his plays, which have a profound depth which we may not find in other texts or other playwrights. Another major influence on Girish Karnad is his own wife, Dr. Saraswati. Remember, his mother was interested in becoming a doctor, but she could not become, whereas Girish Karnad was able to marry a woman who was actually a medical doctor. So here we have Dr. Saraswati. She was a Parsi, and it was difficult for him to convince his family in the beginning, but he waited for a long time to marry this lady. So he proposed to her in 1976 and married her in 1980. At that time, she was working in the US. Girish Karnad was waiting for her to return to India until 1980. And this lady also influenced Girish Karnad in many ways in terms of shaping the creative work of his writings. Now we come to the play Girish Karnad's Tughlaq, which was written and published in 1964 in Kannada, later translated into English and published in 1972. This is the second play after Yayati. Yayati is a mythical play and this Tughlaq is a historical play. How did Girish Karnad write this play? There was a critic called Kirtinath Kudkoti who wrote a piece of criticism saying that in Kannada we didn't have a great historical drama, and he read it, and then Girish Karnad wanted to write a play in Kannada about a historical theme. This play was first produced in 1965, then in Hindi, then Bengali, Marathi and all other languages. It became an instant hit. It became a very successful play on the stage. And so as we said, this play was translated into English by a director called Alik Padmasi, and later Girish Karnad himself translated the play into English for his own purpose and published it through Oxford University Press. The translation was first staged at the Bulabai Auditorium in 1970 and directed by Alik Padmasi. This has gone on to become a modern classic, like a Shakespearean classic, like a Shavian classic. It is considered to be one of the greatest classic plays in Indian drama, in Kannada and also in English. How significant is this play? Why is it considered to be a classic? How is it better than any other play? We have a founder of Ninasan Theatre Institute. He is called K.V. Subanna. He has written about Tughlaq. We have some quotations from him. Let's see this first one. Girish Karnad's Tughlaq is a culmination of modern trends in Kannada theatre. Girish is one of our most creative personalities. He is familiar with both the Indian and European theatre traditions. He is influenced not only by Albert Camus but also by our own company theatre. He has digested both and has created perhaps the greatest work in modern Indian drama. Not only in Kannada drama, in the entire range of modern Indian drama. I am familiar with the plays of Tagore, Mohan Rakesh, Badal Sarkar, Vijay Tendulkar and a few other Indian writers, and it is my belief that Tughlaq excels all their plays. That is the opinion of Subanna. Anyone who has read Indian drama in Indian languages and also in English would easily agree with Subanna regarding the judgment that he has on Tughlaq. This is a play which excels all other plays. Subanna also has something more to say about the play, particularly its history and its relevance to our society. Let's read it now. Tughlaq is a rare creation in more than one way. It is an essentially modern work which has also used the techniques of company theatre meaningfully. It probes into a very important stage of Indian history, thus acquiring an all India appeal. Because it deals with Indian history, it has an appeal to all Indian readers. At the same time, it is a very contemporary play interpreting the failures of the Nehru era. It is a historical play, but it is relevant to modern times because it deals with contemporary situation. The playwright has found a powerful objective correlative, like T.S. Eliot would say about an objective correlative for literary work to become great. Interpreting history and the contemporary life, thus giving new perspectives to understand both, to understand history and also to understand contemporary life. The life of Tughlaq is contemporaneous with, or the life of Tughlaq is similar to the life of Nehru and 20 years period. These two had striking similarities. We would have something more about it from Girish Karnad himself. Here we have a quotation about the contemporaneity or universality of the play Tughlaq. This is what Girish Karnad has said about Tughlaq. This is available in the introduction to Tughlaq. What struck me absolutely about Tughlaq's history was that it was contemporary. The fact that here was the most idealistic, the most intelligent king ever to come on the throne of Delhi and one of the greatest failures also. And within a span of 20 years, this tremendously capable man had gone to pieces. This seemed to be both due to his idealism as well as the shortcomings within him, such as his impatience, his cruelty, his feeling that he had the only correct answer. And I felt in the early 60s, India had also come very far in the same direction. The 20-year period seemed to me very much a striking parallel with the Nehru era that we saw earlier. So, Tughlaq's history is similar to the history of Nehru. What are the similarities? Idealist king, intelligent king, but one of the greatest failures. And so we have the similarity between Nehru and Tughlaq. In addition to the views of Girish Karnad, Subbanna, we will also see some of the ideas from U.R. Ananthamurthy. Ananthamurthy has said in his introduction to Tughlaq this: there are some single plays like Masti's Kokana Kote and the plays of Adya Rangacharya, who is known as Sriranga, who has kept the tradition of playwriting in Kannada alive. Yet there is perhaps no play in Kannada comparable to Tughlaq in its depth and range. It is likely to become a classic in Kannada literature. It has already become a classic in Kannada literature, in Indian literature, in English as well. And it is considered to be one of the best plays ever to have come out of the Indian culture and society. Who are the characters that we have in the play? As we said, we have more than 40 characters, but we cannot list all of them. We have listed some major ones and also some minor ones. Here is a list. Sultan Muhammad Tughlaq is a protagonist of the play. Then we have Azam and Aziz. They are in the subplot of the play actually. Then we have stepmother Vizier Muhammad Najib Ziauddin Barani. These three are usually associated with Tughlaq all the time. Then we have Sheikh Imamuddin, Shihabuddin, Sardar Ratan Singh, Sheikh Shamsuddin Taju Darfim, Giyasuddin Abbasid. These are various characters who come and go, and some have more significance. For example, Shihabuddin plays a key role in the play as a supporter of Tughlaq, but then he betrays Tughlaq and then gets killed. That killing of Shihabuddin is a major event in the play. We have some minor characters like announcers, crowd of citizens, a doorkeeper, amirs and saids. These are lords and nobles. We have a number of soldiers on the scene. We have the muezzin who calls out the devotees to attend the prayer. We have a Hindu woman who plays some interesting role in the play. Then we have a refugee family which also comments on what is happening in the society at that time. Then we have some watchmen, and we have one character called Karim who comes in one particular scene and disappears. So we have a number of characters who make up this play. In fact, directors in those days had difficulty in finding all these 40 or over 40 characters to perform these plays. In spite of that challenge, this play has become one of the most popular plays in the Indian context. Let us see the setting, time and scenes. What is the time and when is it set, where is it set, all those things we can see now. Tughlaq reigned India for about 20 years from 1325 to 1351, and the action of the play starts from 1327 in Delhi, and then it continues for 5 years until 1332, and at that time we see the location in Daulatabad. So, some of the locations that we find in Delhi are the yard in front of the Chief Court of Justice, a room in a palace, the yard in front of the big mosque, the palace, a house in Delhi. This becomes significant because some kind of conspiracy is hatched against Tughlaq in this house. Then the palace. Then when we move on to Daulatabad, en route, this is called the transitional scene. We have some tent, some camp, and that place is also given to us. And then after reaching Daulatabad, we have certain locations in Daulatabad like the fort at Daulatabad, a hideout in the hills, the palace, a plain outside the fort of Daulatabad, again the palace in Daulatabad, and another part of the palace. These are the different locations. Delhi and Daulatabad are the two major locations, and one minor location is on the way, and many of these actions take place in the palace. How is the play structured? We have some 13 scenes. This is called an episodic play. It is not divided into acts and scenes. All are in scenes, 13 scenes. All of them are centered on Tughlaq, though in some scenes where Tughlaq does not appear, some bearing on Tughlaq is always there. The first part in Delhi, a transitional scene, and the second part in Daulatabad covering a period of 5 years is what we have in the play Tughlaq. Tughlaq is generally contrasted with Barani, a peaceful loving person, and Najib, a devilish kind of person, and these two people are contrasted with Azam and Aziz. Aziz is like Najib in terms of devilish thoughts, but Azam is like Barani in his innocence, though Azam is a thief. We have some significant scenes from Tughlaq's reign in about 20 years. What are those significant scenes that we have in the play? Meting out justice. We have a court scene where somebody is given a verdict. Vishnu Prasad files a case against the king and wins the case. That is reported to us. Then we have the report on the withdrawal of jizya tax on the Hindus. This was a tax mainly imposed on the Hindus because they are different. We have rebels, warring governors, and traitors like Shihabuddin and Sardar Ratan Singh. We also have some quelling of rebellion by Amirs rise against Tughlaq. We have shifting of the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. This is one of the major events in the life of Tughlaq. We have printing of copper currencies. Actual printing is not shown to us, but the impact of printing of copper currencies on the people is shown to us. Then we have another very major event in the life of Tughlaq, that is, he banned prayers because prayer was used against him to kill him, and later on after 5 years he restored prayers. So we have 5-year period in the life of Tughlaq, who was a devoted Muslim, but then he banned prayers because people started using prayer for some treacherous activities. To summarize the discussion that we have had so far in this introduction to Girish Karnad and his play Tughlaq, we set out the objectives of introducing this play, introducing Girish Karnad. We looked at Indian drama in English and also in Kannada. We saw the life of Girish Karnad and also mentioned his writings. Particularly we focused on Girish Karnad's mother Krishnabai and his wife Saraswati. These two women, bold women who went on to study medicine in those days, they actually gave lot of strength to Girish Karnad to think about human beings in different ways, particularly in complicated relationships. We saw certain critics like Subanna and you are Ananthamurthy to say certain things about Tughlaq, especially the play becoming a classic in Kannada literature and in modern literature in India. We saw the number of characters that we have in this play. We also noticed the setting in Delhi and also in Daulatabad. We saw the time of 5 years in 13 scenes, and the structure of the play is episodic. I hope this introduction to Girish Karnad and his play helps you to understand what we are going to do next. We have some references for you, please go through them. The best place is to read Girish Karnad himself, some interviews, some introduction to his plays, and we can also read some critical accounts of Girish Karnad's plays. We can find them very useful, particularly Dharwadkar's introduction to the collected plays of Girish Karnad is a very illuminating account which we can benefit from. All the very best.